you can see that there are still some lines here that are visible from the sketch, and that can be annoying sometimes when you try to select things. And that's you can see here in the tree, you can see which sketch that is selected, and we can unclick that one and the lines disappear. Now this frame is just square and we want it to be round, so let's round the edges. So you can either click modify and fill it, or you can just click F as I'm used to do, and we will click all these inner window edges because we'll have the same radius on them. Now if you click on the tool first, then you don't have to hold in Control or Command. You can just click them like this. And now you can use the arrow and you can draw it manually. Oh, I have one edge that is not selected, I can see. Now this is a matter of eyeballing, or if you have a detailed sketch where you can actually see the radius. Here it's in this picture it looks to be quite a small radius. It actually looks like there's no radius here, so I will actually remove that. Now for some weird reason I need to hold Command. It's not always logical. There we go. Now we have only the outer edges. That looks better. This looks more like a train window. So let's actually keep that radius. That looks good. Now we want to trim the outer edges. So I click F, and for some reason it's not highlighting. It can be a good thing when you're working on a component like this and you have a massive part behind with a lot of details that you can click it in the tree so it disappears. That makes it easier to work with the component. It makes fusion faster, and also you're not highlighting a lot of details that you're not working with. So let's click F again. Now it's a lot easier. So let's click the edges. You can see that the frame on the one I'm drawing is not anywhere near this thick, so this is just a matter of improvisation here. Let's do it like that. You can of course make this frame thinner if you want to, smaller. It's just a matter of taste, really. This is not an exact scale project anyway, so there we have the frame. And then when you print this, you can glue transparent plastic to the frame if you want before you glue them in onto the body. That's also one reason to print them separately, that it's easier to glue something on them to work with them. Now let's make the door. And we'll do the same thing here. We will click the side of the car, and we will click create sketch. And because of this is two different components, I think I need to make a rectangle here. I'm not really sure, but I'll do that, makes it easier. And I double click and I make offset 0.2 millimeter. And I double click it again. For some reason you cannot do offsets from lines that are already offsets. It would be really nice if we could just click the inner one here and we could make an offset, but Fusion throws an error. Then you cannot do an offset from something that is already an offset for some reason. That's why we need to click the original one here and make an offset. So we will do it 1.2 this time as well. Probably don't need that, but it's just I just do that for some reason. So let's click that and extrude. And we will also extrude that 2 millimeters. Now this will only be a door to glue in there. This will not be a door that you can open. Let's look on the picture and see what it looks like. So we have a smaller window there in the middle. We don't have a big frame around it, so we'll make a small frame around it, and then we'll make the window. So we click the frame, we click create sketch. Now we could just use the offset, but I'll not use that this time because I don't want the same offset on all the sides. So I will click R for rectangle, and here we have some symmetry choices to make. Do we want it to extend as far up as the window frames? That could be a thing for the aesthetics. I'll try to make it a bit smaller this time because I want a smaller frame. And we can see how far we have it, 0.7 millimeter. That's really small. Let's put it here. Then we have 1.2 millimeter to the inner frame. That's good enough. But I don't want it to extend further down than the floor, so I'll put it here. And we have a window in the middle. We can do that already now. So let's click R and draw a rectangle. And now we're just eyeballing. It was a little bit smaller than the big windows. So let's do it like that, and let's check the dimensions. 1.5. Let's just do that for now. Looks a bit small. I'll probably make it a bit bigger. Oh. Yeah, that will be too narrow. So let's make this 0.5 instead. Because we have the frame all the way out here, so otherwise it will look too small. And we will round the edges once we've extruded this. So let's make an extrude. We will choose the outer frame, the inner one, and the window frame as well. Let's extrude this 0.5 millimeter. So there's our door. And we can of course work with a lot more details on this if you want to. It's just a matter of how much time you want to spend on it. So we will make the edges round, so I click F, and then I will choose the edges. I'll start with the window. Oh, not the surface, the edge. Now this is a nice thing in Fusion, I think, that it keeps the ones I've already selected still. Other softwares I've used before, if you accidentally lift the command key and you click one, it will deselect all the other ones you selected earlier. Can be extremely annoying. So let's see how round we want to make this. Let's look at the picture. It's also quite a small radius. Let's make it the same radius as the other windows. And we also need to round the outer edges. So click F. Oh, the wrong there. Here we might want to have a bigger radius. We'll go with that 1.5. So now we have a door and a window frame. So let's see how it looks. And we need to bring the body out, and now the canvas can be a little bit in the way, so we'll deselect it so we only look at our part. And if we want to, we can introduce some colors so we get a little bit more idea of how this will look. So what do we have here? We have green and we have black. So let's make the chassis black and the body green. So you click on appearance, and you can try out some different textures and colors here. I think this opaque is really nice to work with, so let's drag it to the body. So there we have our green body, and we will draw the black to the chassis there, and also to the... Oh, that was not possible. Oh, this is a referenced component, it says, so we cannot do that. Let's see. What we can fix that, because what you see here is you have a chain, a small chain here. That means that this component is referenced to the other components we have here. Now we don't need that. That's because if you're working on something really complex and you want to be able to work with this boogie and you want it automatically to change in your assembly, then it's good to have it linked. But in my mind, it usually creates a lot of headache, because you can sometimes not even change the view here. I cannot click and unclick the view, and that is extremely annoying, and I don't understand why that is, because it doesn't have anything to do with the geometry or anything. So what I usually do is, not for the track, we're not gonna mess with the track right now, but with the boogies, I right click and I click break link. And we'll do that on the other one as well. Now Fusion just needs to think for a while. Do that for the other one, break link. So now these components are not referenced anymore with the other ones you have. That also means we can make changes to them without messing with the other one we have stored, and that's actually an advantage in my view, because then you always have the original stored. Otherwise you would have to save two different versions outside this project we're working on now. Now you can mess with this boogie if you want to, and you will not destroy the other one. So now when the link is removed, we can change the color. And you can see also, we can also change the visibility of the parts. We can remove a wheel or something if we would like to. So let's make this black. Maybe there's a way to assign all the all the included parts at the same time. I don't know. Let's just try something here. If we draw it to the remove appearance applied to child components bodies. Yeah, let's try it. Yeah, that was possible. So yeah, draw it here. Draw it here instead to the tree. That's perfect. So now we want to change the color of our window frame. Let's make it matte gray. Yeah, that looks good in my view. Like that. Let's actually copy the window and also the doors so we get a complete look of it. So we can create a new component and we'll call this windows. We actually draw and drag and drop the window frame in there. Now we can copy and paste. And as you maybe you saw that there is a paste or paste new. If you choose paste new, that means that it will be a component that is not referenced to the old one. It will be one that you can modify whatever you want. But I'll not choose that right now because I just want to copy it. I don't want to modify them separately. Let's see, just see what's happening here. You can see that Fusion uses different scalings. When you zoom in, you have a finer scale on when you drag on the arrows. Now working and recording is a little bit too much for this old Mac, I can notice. But it really impressed generally with Fusion's way of handling resources. It's really good. It works really well on this old computer when I'm not recording at least. There can be some bugs sometime, but then it's usually just to save and exit Fusion and go into it again and everything works fine. I could probably use a pattern again for this, but there are not so many, so I don't care. Now we have all the window frames on this side. What we can do now is we can mirror this entire component, and we choose the mirror plane. There we have it, and we have all the frames on the other side as well. And we did the same thing with the doors. And we drag and drop the door. Oh, what did I do now? I drag and dropped the wrong one. The door, it should be. Well, what is happening now? There we go. So we copy it and we paste and we drag it all the way over here. And I'm not that exact when I'm placing them now, because I'm not gonna attach them or anything in the CAD. I'm just placing them for visual reference, just to see how it all will look. And also, let's mirror this component, and we select the plane and click OK. So now we have all the window frames and the doors mirrored. So let's activate the whole thing and see how it looks. It starts to look like a car, I think. So, what to do next? It looks a bit empty on the side, actually. We can create something there. There is a bellow here, or what you should call it. That we could create that one and just print it with black material. It would look like something like this. That's too complicated. Let's do something simpler. Here we have something. There's a door in the middle, of course, and a frame around it. Here we have something. Yeah, let's create something that looks like that bellows style rubber thing. What should we call that? Car ends. That's good. So first we will we had we want a window there. We want a door. We want it to look like a door at least. So how big should we do that? We can see on this one that it's quite a small window there as well. It's the same size as the window on the side. So what we could actually do is we could click the side here. Oh, let's just measure the window. Oh, we'll do it like this. We click P for project, and we click this line, and we click that line. This means we will have a reference here. So this is the upper edge, and this is the lower edge, and we can use that now when we create a window. So something like that. Yeah, there. Now this is not part of our component. So what we could do is we could select this and we can click construction. This means that Fusion will not treat this as something we want to extrude. It's just a reference, a visual reference for us to know where to put the frame we're gonna build. So now let's see how big we want to make the frame. We want to make it quite big. We're gonna round the edges a lot, so let's make it quite big. 39.5, and here's another weird thing in Fusion. If I hold over anywhere on this grid, it will snap to the points. But if I'm on an edge like this, it will not snap. This is really annoying. It would be, of course, a good thing that it snaps to the line, but it would also be good if it snaps to to the vertical lines here. So when we do this, we need to enter a dimension. So we'll enter 30 here. And why am I entering 30? Because I could see that it was basically I have 15 to the middle. That means I will enter 30 here to get it symmetrical. And what I do now, I want this bellow to be smaller and smaller as further out from the body I get. So we'll start with quite a thick piece of material here, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. So we have 10 to the middle, so we will make it 20 wide. Now we have something to extrude here. So let's extrude it a bit. Click extrude. And how much? We will see. Yeah, 3 is good. So now you can see that it's suggesting we want to make a new body. That's because we're in a new component. If we were in the body component, it would suggest that we join it to the rest of the body. But now it understands that we want to make this a separate component, a separate body. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make this look like it's soft, like it's rubberish. So let's click F for fillets, and we're gonna make it a lot around here, like that. Oh, let's choose 8. And then let's also make the inner edge. Like that. We can actually now, even when we're in this tool, we can click on the sketch. So it brings up our window here. So we can see that we're not overlapping the window or doing something that we don't want. So yeah, 4 looks okay there. Now we can deselect the sketch, or we will have it selected so we see it anyway.